Welcome to Chandler in Focus. I'm Councilmember Rick Heumann. Today we're discussing the upcoming Relay for Life Chandler event. Relay for Life is a life-changing event that's held annually in Chandler. It brings the community together to honor cancer survivors, pay tribute to those we've lost, and walk together to raise funds to fight cancer. It's my pleasure to introduce my two guests, Lynne Hartke, cancer survivor and event lead for the 2016 Relay for Life Chandler, and Paula Abasolo, I hope I got that right, cancer survivor and the accounting chair of the 2016 Relay for Life Chandler, which you get to count all that great money you guys raised, which is awesome. Yep. So welcome, ladies. Thank you very much for coming and stuff. So let's talk about, for a few minutes, sharing your background with our viewers. How'd you get involved and why? And Lynne, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. People get involved in Relay for Life for lots of different reasons, but usually very personal reasons because of a cancer diagnosis that hits too close to home. And that was my case. In 2009, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Soon after my treatment, my dad was diagnosed with melanoma, and then my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And Relay for Life became a place where we could kind of process the cancer journey, first while we were in treatment, and later after my parents died, and not only my parents, but my husband's parents. So my children lost all 4 grandparents to cancer. And Relay for Life became a place where we could have a healthy place to work through some of those emotions. I was the entertainment chair for 4 years, and this is my first year as event lead.
Cool. You did a great job as entertainment chair. So
Thank you.
Very creative. You had a person having a tough time to follow that and stuff. So how about you, Paula?
I first became involved because my parents had also had cancer. My mother had had cervical and lung, and my father had bone cancer. And I got involved with the very first one here in Chandler in 2003, and it was actually held at the Skateland over here at Abasolo and Ray Road. And we actually walked around inside or skated inside for the evening, and it was very small at that time, but and it's grown exponentially since then. I got involved because my parents had been diagnosed and had dealt with that. And then I continued just as a participant, and then I also was diagnosed and fought Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2008 and 2009, and then became involved with the committee and have done various things from the Luminaria chair to the survivor chair to accounting, sponsorship, various things.
Cool, very cool. So it takes a lot to do this project, and we'll talk more about it later. Cancer has touched the lives, many families, and I believe this event really does provide the support, Lynne, you were talking about in terms of people being affected. And, I'm a son of 2 parents that both, my mom had 3 or 4 different cancers, and finally the last one got her, and Dad had colon cancer. So and everybody's touched by it.
Yeah.
So in every way, shape, or form, just different ways, and people don't realize it sometimes. So Relay for Life Chandler is part of the American Cancer Society Relay for Life. How is the Relay for Life organized?
Well, each year more than 4 million people actually participate in Relay for Life in 20 countries around the world. And we're just one of those many, many relays. We have a local committee. And then within that committee, we divide up all the different responsibilities. And then we ask people in the community to get involved on a team of 7 or more people. Okay. And to raise funds, and then come join us in the spring at our event and walk the track. And Relay does 3 different things. We celebrate the lives of people who have battled cancer, and we want to remember people who have lost their lives to cancer. And then it gives a great way to fight back, because a lot of times cancer gives us this feeling that we're helpless. It's so overwhelming, but it's this community getting together and fighting back, and that's a powerful experience and sometimes life-changing for people.
So what are some of the other partnerships that you guys have? And are there things you need for partnerships from people, or?
Well, we're always looking for organizations and businesses that want to get involved at a corporate level. I mean, individual money is fantastic, but if we could get more corporate funds, we're always looking for that and provide ways for businesses to get their name out there as a cancer supporter. But most of our money at Relay actually is the $10 donation and the $5 donation, and individuals making a big difference.
And you've raised how much last year?
How much did we raise?
That's the accounting person.
196,000. If I remember correctly, it's 196,000 here in Chandler.
Right.
Once all everything's settled, dust settled. But we last year also passed the $1 million mark.
Yes, we did.
So
yeah.
That's an amazing number.
Yes.
And talk about a little bit in terms of the money that's raised and where it goes. Because I know people always say that you know, American Cancer Society, a big organization, and I donate money, and does it stay in my community? And,
Right.
you know, talk a little bit about that as well.
We have 4 different things that it goes to, and research is a big one, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But we also, money goes towards education about cancer, and I think one of the things that the American Cancer Society is most proud about is their discovery that lung cancer was linked to smoking, and the huge decrease in people who've died from lung cancer since the 1960s because of that education to the public. Money also goes towards advocacy at a political level. Right now, I know they're trying to work through a bill on more restrictions on tanning beds for youngsters and patient services, wigs and things like that. But one of the main reasons I've gotten involved and stayed involved is because of research. American Cancer is the largest private, not-for-profit source of funds for scientists. And since we got involved in 1946, we have funded 47 scientists who have gone on to win the Nobel Prize for research.
That's just 47 for the Nobel Prize, not counting how many hundreds and thousands of scientists.
Just
okay, so
that.
people know it's not 47 scientists, just who won the Nobel Prize. So.
And there's 4 of those that have made a difference in my cancer treatment. So fundraising dollars that were given years ago made a difference when I was diagnosed. One being that one of those years ago was that mammograms make a difference in detecting breast cancer early. And another being that there is an estrogen blocker drug called tamoxifen, which I took that was a result of research years ago that reduces my risk of reoccurrence. And it's easy to think, oh, you know, research dollars are only for out there. But I believe that, you know, money we raise makes a difference. And this year, the American Cancer Society is funding 787 grants nationwide. And 6 of those are right here in Arizona, 5 at the U of A and 1 at St. Joe's.
So it does make a difference in terms of that. And, you know, you go back in the history, and for a viewing audience, we have, you know, from little to older, you look at the history and how it's changed from, and the smoking is a perfect example. Oh, secondhand smoke's fine. And don't worry about it. And, you know, and the tobacco companies handing out cigarettes and things like that. And, you know, we've reduced the smoking in the country. We still haven't reduced it, as far as I'm concerned, to 0, which it needs to go to. But that's another subject for a different day, I guess. So, but, you know, you talked about relay dollars and talked about research a little bit. What are the support services that some of that money go to? You talked a little bit about it. Can you touch on a little bit more?
We're fortunate because we live in a big city, and so we have a few more resources available. One is a Hope Lodge up by Mayo Clinic. And so if we have someone in the area who lives more than 100 miles from treatment, they can stay there for free, and caregiver also. And another would be Ride to Recovery. If people go through treatment, they might get to a point where they can't drive themselves, and so funds can go towards either a taxi or for a volunteer to drive them, or maybe they've just gotten too old and they don't drive anymore. And so it's so valuable that people get to their treatment. The other is Look Good, Feel Better, where it involves makeup application and wigs from the side effects that affect our appearance during cancer. I know my mom loved getting the tips of how do you draw on eyebrows again after you've lost from chemo. And she was never much into the wigs, but wearing scarves in a way that make you feel beautiful. And it was my mom's thing to always carry lipstick. That was like, cancer's not going to take that away from me. I'm still going to be beautiful. And that's a powerful thing for people. What I love is the last thing is the information helpline. For 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, you can call the number and talk to a live person. 2 o'clock in the morning, you've got a question, you're freaking out. You can call the hotline and talk to a live person. And something I found out this year that I didn't know, not only English is available, but 30 other languages. So you have a coworker whose mother has cancer and she doesn't speak English, they can get the help they need. And that number is 1-800-227-2345.
Just got it memorized.
I do.
Which is good.
It's on my speed dial.
But you know, I think it's really important that cancer touches many lives, that an organization like Relay is able to fund things so that people have that support. You know, my mom went through cancer. She happened to serve on the hospital board, and the chemo room was awful. I mean, it was just a bland, and they went and decorated the room, made it look more hospitable. So when people are going through chemo, it's not, oh, you've got cancer and go away kind of thing, but the support groups that are out there, and Relay does help support a lot of those kinds of things. And the event that you guys do, and I've been out there many of the years, is a lot of fun and stuff. So as long as the sprinklers don't go on. That's another joke. But for caregivers, you touched on it a little bit. What are some of the services available for caregivers?
Respite care is one of the things that they offer. When you dial that 800 number that Lynne just gave, they offer some information. It's the same thing, more information.
So what's respite care?
Respite care is, it's more for support. It's a support group information. Most of what they offer is for those who are undergoing treatment, but they do offer those things for caregivers, survivors, ways for them to get involved. Again, there's so many questions that they may have. Even information on, as a caregiver, trying to help pay for a bill. I can't pay my electric because I'm paying whatever. Or folks who will come in and help clean a home of someone who's undergoing treatment. Those kind of things, they can provide you with those resources. That's really what it's about, is providing you the resources and that type of information.
So maybe as simple as somebody coming in, you're taking care of your mother and father, and it's exhausting. I mean, it can be an exhausting kind of thing. Maybe coming in for a couple hours and helping out a little bit or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this year's Relay for Life Chandler event, how is it organized in terms of what's the themes this year? Let's start with, when is the event?
The event is Friday, April 29th, starting at 6 o'clock in the evening until Saturday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
People walk the track, and what I love about the event, and another reason why I got involved, it's not just for the person who's had cancer. The whole family can come. My 2-year-old grandson has to come, although he's a little confused about always walking in the same direction. And my parents, when they were involved...
Not just the kids that do that, so...
Yeah. And my parents were involved up into their 70s, so all ages can come.
Okay.
So
Okay, and then the theme this year?
I'm going to let Paula go with that.
What's the theme?
It's about superheroes, and not all superheroes wear a cape.
Okay.
So I think it's great that it's about recognizing that we're all superheroes and that there are ways that we can be that for somebody who's going through cancer. Okay. Those who are fighting it are superheroes, those who are caregivers. So that's our theme.
So you say now wear a cape, though. I know in the past, Lynne, you were the entertainment chair, there's certain laps that are done for different, is there a superhero lap that's going on this year? Or talk a little bit about that.
There'll be a number of laps. That will be one of them. We have other fun laps. I believe we're going to still do the tutu lap. And I think this year, as far as the superhero lap, I think we're going to do 2 different ones. One's for those who are the typical Marvel, DC comic type of superhero. And the other is those that people may not necessarily think of, like the comic book type of superhero. It could be you as a policeman or a fireman or other types of heroes we have in our life. So I believe we're doing 2 different laps this year for that. So
that's very cool.
But we did have to put a notice out, no realistic fake weapons with the costumes.
Okay. No lightsabers.
We've already been asked.
No lightsabers.
I think a lightsaber would be okay.
So
yes.
Talk about some of the planning from you guys in terms of when did this event started? When did you start planning for this event?
Well, we really began not long after the one from the previous year ends. Okay. We take a little bit of a respite there, but one of the first things we do is look at the customer satisfaction survey that we put out to all those who attend. And we want to find out what people thought we did great and what we could improve on and things that they want to see and things they maybe don't want to see. So we take that into consideration. And then there's so much that goes into it for logistics, finding a venue that can support us being there, to deciding what we'd like to have for entertainment, the different ceremonies, the opening ceremonies, speakers. As Lynne mentioned earlier, we start out with honoring our survivors, planning that and the survivor dinner, to setting up and tearing down the next day. So there's lots of logistics. So we start probably back in August for the next year.
Okay, very, very cool. We're going to show a little short video about the impact of Relay for Life right now. And we're back from the video. It's pretty inspiring. Share what types of other entertainment participants can expect. You talked about, I know there's things, and I don't want to use the word entertainment as much. I know you guys have music and things like that. But let's talk about the opening ceremonies. One of the things that's amazing to me is the Survivor Lab, the Luminary Lab. Talk about some of those kinds of things so people understand that there's a lot of stuff going on during the evening.
Do you want to take Survivor or Luminaria?
I'll take Survivor.
Okay.
The Survivor Lap is intended to, one, obviously the first thing is to honor our survivors. So we start out every relay, that being the first lap that we do. So, and the goal is, again, to honor them and also to really give hope, to show that more and more are surviving cancer. And it's because of the work that the American Cancer Society does and others, right? So that's part of what that is. And it's great that we do that, and then immediately following that, we incorporate the caregivers. So we recognize how big a role and how important they are in the care for survivors and helping us get through that journey. So that's how we start the ceremony, is to recognize them and put the focus on them as everyone else cheers them on, and then incorporate the caregivers.
Okay.
And at 9:30, we do the Luminaria ceremony, and that's a powerful ceremony of remembering people that are currently in the fight against cancer or that we've lost because of cancer, and people have purchased Luminaria bags and decorated them for $10, and they line the entire track, and we have a short ceremony, and then they turn the lights off to the whole facility, and we walk in silence around the track one time in solidarity and remembering, and then they also light Luminaria bags in the stands that spell out the words hope and cure. And powerful ceremony every year. And
So how does somebody, if somebody in our audience wanted to, they don't want to come that night, and obviously we'll talk about, but how do they purchase a Luminary bag or donate money?
they could go to our website, Relay for Life AZ/Chandler. I'm not remembering that right.
It's
Go for it.
relayforlife.org/Chandler
And
AZ.
we'll throw it up for our viewers.
Yeah.
They see
I
it,
was like,
so.
I knew as soon as I said it, I didn't have it right.
She got the phone number, remember that. Trying to remember all the technical stuff now.
Yeah, and there's a link right on there where it's
Okay.
a Luminaria link where
Okay.
they can go, and then you would type in even what you want on the bag,
somebody would write it on
and
the
someone
bag for
would
you.
decorate it for
Okay.
you. Yes.
It is a pretty powerful walk and stuff. It's very, very neat and stuff. So talk about some of the inspirational people you've met along the way for both of you guys. I mean, going out there and seeing different people and my experience around different people with cancer survivors and stuff, but talk about maybe give us an example of one or two each. So
Okay.
other than you guys, because you're all both inspirational to me. So
I'll take Joe.
Okay.
I'll take Joe. We have a gentleman that passed, I believe it'll be almost 2 years now, Joe Caresty. And this was a man who had battled cancer previously, I believe twice before, and then was diagnosed again. And despite all of it, he was someone who was positive, who encouraged others, who was still very active and involved. He was someone that, involved in Relay, was always a presence among the committee or even at the event. He put in a lot of time to and work. We were recognized as an All-American Relay 3 years because of his hard work and the amount of paperwork, tape, whatever that needed to be done to get that done. He was just someone who was always very positive and happy and encouraging others, and it was a difference. Even when he had undergone the removal of a lung, he was still a week later out there. He didn't let things slow him down or stop him.
I got to meet him. Pretty neat guy.
Yeah. Very neat guy.
So how about you, Lynne?
I'd actually like to just share a story that involved my mom and the city of Chandler, because they surrounded us on a really, really hard day with my mom and her treatment. We were part of the Festival of Light Parade
I was on the truck that
2013, and my mom, it was her birthday that day.
Right.
And so she got permission to sit in the front seat and wave her beauty queen wave. But what she didn't realize is that my husband had gone along the parade route that night and told people that it was her birthday and to yell "Happy Birthday, Lois" as we drove down the route. And so, we're just driving along behind the little dancers in their purple outfit, and all of a sudden people start yelling, "Happy birthday, Lois." And Mom was like, how do they know it's my birthday? How do they know it's my birthday? And it was just a fantastic memory on what was her last birthday.
That was I was on that truck that
Yeah.
night. It was fun. She had a grin from.
Yep.
It was awesome
Yeah, and it was
stuff, so.
strangers who didn't know her who just surrounded us and made a great memory.
Yeah, it was very, very cool and stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys were the top performing relay in the Valley.
Yep.
We know that Yuma by itself, and you guys compete a lot of other things. So tell us what that recognition represents to you guys. I mean, we love Chandler, but we have great organizations like you guys to go out and volunteer and do something like that. But talk about being the biggest relay in the Valley.
Yes, we do have a little competition going on with Yuma. And we say, well, they're ahead because there's nothing else going on at Yuma. And so everyone goes to their relay.
Right.
But yeah, we are a top performing relay in our district of 12 states. And that's a big deal because there's over 5,000 relays in the United States alone. And to be a top performing means to be in the top 20 or 25 relays. And we have that distinction. A little bit of pressure every year to keep that. But we have friendly competitions amongst the relays in the area. And in the month of February, we were the top online fundraiser in our 12-state area. And Mike Perry, our former lead, he was the top individual fundraiser in the month of February. So he's still very, very much involved with relay.
He might have been the ex-chair or the former chair, but I know Mike's heavily involved.
Yes,
and
very
stuff.
much.
So how many people participated last year? Do you guys have a count on how, or is it's hard to people come and go during the night? And
yeah, and some don't register, and they just come and walk a few hours. So of people that registered, it was just under 1,000.
Wow.
And over like 120 survivors or something like that. And we're anticipating similar numbers. And like I said, all ages are welcome. And people can come if they can't stay all night. They can come and just walk for a few hours and, of course, spend a few dollars. And then...
And what is neat about it is all these different groups around the track and people bring their tents and all kinds of different, and they're selling all kinds of stuff. Cupcakes to glow-in-the-dark necklaces, to everything imaginable. So bring some ones or whatever, and
bring
be
cash.
able to bring cash. That there's it's not an ATM situation and stuff. So, but it is very neat and stuff. So, date and location this year?
Friday night, April 29th,
Right.
at Basha High School at 6 o'clock at night, going until the morning, until 6 in the morning.
And for people who don't know where Basha High is, Val Vista and Riggs Road, southeast part of Chandler.
At the outdoor track. So
track,
it's outside. We walk outside.
And the weather's usually great. And
We haven't failed to have great
We
weather.
have never been rained out.
Right. Well, the joke was the first year I went to Basha, that we were laughing earlier, is that in the middle of the night, the sprinklers went on.
Yes, 2 in the morning.
And people were diving for cover. So now everybody makes sure the water's turned off before that happens and stuff. So you can be assured you can come out in the middle you can come out at 10 o'clock at night and don't have to worry about that and stuff.
Very much so.
Sponsorship opportunities, volunteer opportunities, someone who's watching out there, Paula, how can they still get involved? And besides donating money, which is always great.
We certainly are looking for volunteers. There's always work to be done. As I said, the logistics of it are pretty large. So anything from setting things up with Luminary or any other things the day of. There's cleanup the day after because let's face it, when you've been up all night, what may have taken you 2 hours before is now going to take you 5 hours because you're just so tired.
We would love if people showed up
We
at
would love
5
to
in the
have
morning.
people who have slept.
Right.
So that would be terrific. And beforehand, there's lots of things to do beforehand in the preparation, whether it's helping them put together the survivor dinner, whether it's, again, some of the logistics in marking campsites, or there's lots to do in the planning ahead of time. So if they wish to get involved, certainly they can contact us and we'd be happy to let them know where they can help out.
So you've both been involved in this a long time. What have you enjoyed the most?
Do you want to go?
Sure.
Okay.
Because I did that little gasp because I liked that question. We kind of joke with the Chandler relay because we don't call each other, we're friends and we're family, but we call each other relatives because we feel like a family. And that's certainly probably, without a doubt, that's my favorite part is the people I've met and the relationships I've built. And it truly is, it makes me hopeful every year because, again, we see more and more survivors. We see more and more people living and having birthdays. And so that's very inspirational to me. So while cancer is a very serious and, let's face it, depressing topic, I find joy in the people that I've been surrounded with who've dealt with that. So I love that part of it.
Yeah, I would echo that in that I've met some amazing, courageous, and sacrificial people that are on the committee with me that make my job as event lead very easy. And the other thing I do love about Relay is, I mentioned earlier, it has given a place for our family to walk through a real difficult story. And I think they look forward to Relay every year also.
And, you know, it's a cool event. Someone wants to find out more about the event. Is there a Facebook site, Twitter site?
Yes, all
these
kinds
different
of things.
Social media now spreads everything out. So
Yes,
what everybody
alphabet
likes.
I'm supposed to remember and numbers. All right, so the Relay website is relayforlife.org/ChandlerAZ.
The email is chandlerrelay@gmail.
Okay.
And we've got a Twitter account @ChandlerRelay.
Okay.
And Facebook, Chandler AZ Relay for Life. But if you hit Chandler Relay for Life, it'll get you
We're
there.
throwing those up on our board, on our
And
set right now,
of course, the
so.
American Cancer Society is cancer.org, and then the phone number that I mentioned earlier. So
Okay. We don't have a lot of time. Lynn, you're writing a, well, I just got this thing real quickly. You're writing you do a
book.
blog or a book?
Yes, I do have a website, LynneHartke.com, and I have a book that I finished this morning.
Cool.
So it will come out actually in 2017 about my cancer journey and that of both of my parents.
Okay.
So it'll be a nonfiction.
Very, very neat and stuff. So, well, we're almost out of time, or as the crew's signaling me that we're out of time pretty much. But I want to thank you guys for coming in. This is a neat event. I've been out there every year, and I'll be out there again this year. I'm actually going to probably join a team this year. They haven't been told yet. So a group of our guys and gals, it's a guys-gals competition, so I guess I have to join on the guys' side and beat the gals. But it's been a fun event every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great evening. It's very inspirational for people. If you haven't been touched by cancer, you will be touched by cancer. It's an awful disease. As much as we've cured, and the cure rates are so much higher and things like that, but come out that night, enjoy it, spend an hour, spend 20 minutes, spend 2 hours, whatever you want to do, spend the evening kind of thing, and really support a great cause and a great group of people that really work with us and stuff. So thanks, guys, for coming out.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.